Doreen, now Baroness Lawrence, and remember that it was in 1993 she went through the most unimaginable pain when her son Stephen, was fatally stabbed in a racist murder in Eltham back in 1993. 2 people have been convicted over that murder, though detectives believe Mr. Lawrence was stabbed to death by a group of possibly 6 white men in a wholly unprovoked racist attack. Now, without doubt, without question, since then, Baroness Lawrence has worked hard to try and bring about some kind of equity and fairness in race matters. But in an interview with Channel 4 News, which I did not see last week, and I sense got drowned out a little bit, by the way, by the ceaseless Brexit saga, Baroness Lawrence made the most extraordinary accusation.
Nobody wanted to mention the word race in the whole thing. Because when I saw the residents who lived in that block, to me it was under no doubt around the racism that existed at that time. Because I think, had that been a block full of white people in there, they would have done everything to get them out as fast as possible and make sure that they did what they needed to do. Because you think of how many more lives have lost since Stephen, how many families are grieving, and what has the authority done? Nothing really. You know, so in that respect, nothing has changed towards grieving family from the ethnic minority. Nothing has changed in that respect.
Let's see what you make of it. Ray in Heathrow, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Nick.
Yes, your view.
Well, my view is based on over 37 years' experience in London Fire Brigade.
Oh, you are a firefighter, are you? I didn't know that. Okay.
I'm a retired firefighter. I retired about a year before Grenfell, and I've served in just about every station in West London that would have attended that job on the night.
Right.
I'm disgusted. I am of the opinion of the same as all your callers and the people that have made comments there. In all my years, with the old timers when I first joined in the late 70s, throughout my career and here on, I can say with hand on heart, there is not one individual that have seen race, sex, colour, creed before the professionalism of their job. And I think it's abysmal that this Doreen Lawrence has made this comment, and I would love to know in which context, although I can't actually comprehend which context she's made this. It's disgraceful.
Well, not everyone. Some people agree. Race down the line if you would. Juan, you're in Streatham. You agree with what Baroness Lawrence has said, Juan?
I do agree, and I think that the way in which it's being taken and portrayed is slightly different out of context of what the Baroness said. I think race played a huge part in the responsiveness and the effectiveness of both the London Fire Brigade and those that take the responsibility on from the council.
Now the council is... Juan, don't go. The council is a separate area, and I think there might be some ground there. But to me, Juan, a firefighter does not see colour, but you think they might. Explain to Ray why you think that.
I think from the outset, the response to the London Fire Brigade, which I'm not saying in any way was less or less efficient than it should have been, but the calls that were made on that day were not taken with the right amount of emergency, and I'll explain myself in that. If it had been perhaps one of the really big and expensive mansions in Notting Hill or one of the new build apartments in Notting Hill that was burning down at that stage, I think the London Fire Brigade would have been under extreme amounts of pressure, more so than they were on the day of Grenfell, to have done something about it.
Let's get the firefighter admitted. Surely the bloke and women who are doing it, they don't know whether they're in Knightsbridge or whether they're in Catford. They're just doing what they have to do. Ray?
He is wrong. I'm at boiling point with comments like this. I've sat round mess tables on numerous stations at station level, i.e. the men and women that do the job every day. Now, when the bells go down in the old days, or when the ordering comes through on the teleprinter now, there's like a switch is flicked, and there is no biased or self-opinion that ever comes into the mind of any single individual. I would say in the London Fire Brigade, but I would also say nationwide. They will only see what's the address that's in front of them and the work that they've got to do when they get there. Now, if that's pulling people out literally by their shoestrings, or just attending a false alarm or a malicious call, it's that mindset of every single firefighter, especially in London, that is on the forefront of their minds when they turn out from that station. Right. Where this previous caller, I didn't get his name.
Juan. It's
Where
Juan.
Where is he coming from?
Well, ask him.
Where is that individual coming from?
I'll tell you exactly where I'm coming from. On the day that, unfortunately, Grenfell was burning down, there were firefighters stuck around waiting for orders from superiors that weren't giving them for at least 2.5 hours before they actually made any attempt to go in. That's the first point. The second point is everyone was told to stay in their houses, which they shouldn't have. And the third point is that building burned from the outside in, different to most fires that burn from the inside out. People had enough time to get there and get out. And they weren't allowed to get out because they were given misinstructions by the people who were meant to be leading that operation. And if you think that doesn't have anything to do with race, then perhaps, and respectfully, you're Caucasian and you've never felt the fact that there's pressure from the country surrounded by race. There should have been more things done that day, and there should have been things done quicker, more effectively, to help those that were in Grenfell.
All right, it may be what's called the fog of war, but let's get Ray back in. Ray?
No, I don't accept any of that, Nick. The firefighters may have been, and I wasn't there, but I've attended many fires at senior officer level where I finished my career. So I know from policy through to station attendance, through to organisational awareness. I've been there. I've actually done the job. This individual hasn't. Now, I would suggest that on the night, firefighters were standing around waiting for instruction, because there's an awful lot of things going on from the command unit, which is midway in the structure of command, to getting those people safely to where they have to be in that tower block. Right. Now, yes, fires normally do start from inside and go out. We all know that the fire acted irrationally and it was unprecedented. We know this. That's not the fault of the firefighters. My son's watch, he recently got promoted. Now, he watched his watch at the base of that fire, taking a break, blackened, sickened in CA sets after going in time and time again, risking their own lives, as did every firefighter there, I would suggest. And they would not have stopped until conditions got so bad that they could not progress any further. Now,
I must leave it there. We're so late to the news.
Okay, so my quick thoughts on this is that the firefighters, the police, the ambulance service people, they are not racist because they cannot be racist. You cannot live in the Saint Stephen Lawrence era and still hate blacks. You just can't. It can't be possible. You think these people have had over 25 years of diversity training, constant anti-white, anti-racist indoctrination. Blacks are amazing. Whites are evil, evil people. So after that, you're telling me they still hate blacks? No, they just can't. And also on an individual level, if you are a firefighter or a policeman and you know if you wrong a black person or if you are shown to be slightly racist in a very minor way, your career could be over. You could be ended, that's it. Your entire life is done. So they know they can't do this. I would say, I'd go one step further. I imagine the firefighters would be more eager to save diversity, don't let them die, and instead let the white people die in a fire. I really think that. That's how crazy we are now. That's how anti-white the society is. So, anyway, please let me know your thoughts on this, and do you believe the firefighters actually allowed those people, or rather illegals of colour, to deliberately die in that fire? Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe, please comment, Ilu, Sassoon, peace out.